You are now listening to Serious Minds RNTV with your host, Professor Griff. The call-in number is 516-654-7688. That's 516-654-7688. This is Professor Griff, and this is Serious Minds RNTV. Serious Minds for Serious Minds. Seriously.
Greetings, family. All right, this is Professor Griff. Of course, you'll already know from Serious Mind R&T. Of course, now Serious R. I want to welcome you to a very brand new course that I'm giving online. It's called Developing an Urban Tactical Mindset. You can register now at www.professorgriff.me. All right, once again, this is Professor Griff, and I'm welcoming you to Developing an Urban Tactical Mindset, a 6 weeks online course with scheduled in-person dates. All right, I want to see you guys in class. Register now. Go to www.professorgriff.me.
I don't know what happened to the black men in this community, Colin. I don't know what happened to them.
The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute.
They got their dashikis and their dreads and their this and that, and police run rampant out here.
The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. The Alternative Black Studies online course with instructor Professor Griff. Sign up today at www.professorgriff.me and Serious Minds Institute. Thank you. All right, greetings, family. This is Professor Griff, and of course, you'll already know this is Serious Minds RNTV, and we are in the building, and so are you. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Shout out to everyone on YouTube, where everyone's supposed to be. Melanated and strapped. What's good with you? All right. Shout out to the Serious Minds family on YouTube. All right, Mr. Hassan Burton, what's good, man? All right, let's dive right into this subject because we have a lot to cover. JD, Carl, what's happening? Shout out to everyone on IG. All right. We have an interesting conversation probably coming up tomorrow or next week. My man Nick keeps hitting me up about this Vatican thing, and we have to kind of deal with it, this Vatican assassin thing. But today we have to talk about the January 6th Day of Rage. All right, Quan, what's good with you? All right. The January 6th Day of Rage. I'm sure you've been watching the footage that has been going on today. I think the hearings are happening and some other things are going down. I'm sure you've been listening to it. So salute to everyone. All right. So I definitely want to get everyone's feedback on what's going on with this Day of Rage. Do you think the United States government is handling it the way you think they should be handling it? Yeah, just kind of give me your feedback after we show a couple of clips and let everyone know that you kind of get everyone's feedback on where what people are thinking, what has the government done? Because a lot of times when these kind of things happen, we put ourselves in that situation. Like, what would they do if it was black people? And a lot of us already know the solution. There'd have been dead black bodies out there. All right. So please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share, fam. Don't forget to hit the bell so you can receive instant notifications on when we are on. All right. If you would like to advertise your events right here on Serious Minds RNTV, you could do that by hitting me up at 678-557-2919. Let's dive into this. All right. Of course, you already know if you want to purchase any of the brain tonic or the resurrection formula, you can do so by hitting me up at ProfessorGriff.me. That's www.ProfessorGriff.me. All right. All right. I thought I would start off with something very simple, which is a timeline. And maybe if we started off with a timeline, we can get a deeper understanding of where we are right now. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to talk about the timeline. All right. So let's open up the timeline.
America first! America first!
Another thing I would say, Lester, is, as we try to figure out, well, it looks now like the Capitol, the police.
Pete, let me break away from you a second because things are happening very quickly.
The government did this to us. We were normal, good, law-abiding citizens.
They no longer have been able to keep them back.
This is our country. And to the republic which it stands, one nation. Right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Down the mall, President Trump airing his grievances in front of his supporters at a rally nearby, and he was warning vengeance for Republicans who did not take his side in objecting to these results. On Capitol Hill, a joint session of Congress has broken into House and Senate chambers as they debate objections that arose from GOP lawmakers over the electoral results from Arizona. There's some protests happening down outside the Capitol. They appear to be Trump supporters who are frustrated with the outcome and are trying to breach some of that those security perimeters around the Capitol.
USA! USA! Senate will stand in recess until the call of the chair.
We'll pause.
Protesters are in the building.
We have visual evidence that some protesters have made it inside the Capitol building, around the security, and are gathering around the area where the Senate was in session.
We were just told that there has been tear gas in the rotunda.
Members of the legislature were informed that they should don their gas masks.
Get gas masks that are under our seats.
Senators have been evacuated.
There are gunshots inside the Capitol.
I think it's the most shocking failure of security imaginable to place the Congress of the United States at physical risk in an occupied congressional chamber because they weren't prepared to deal with it.
There is a disturbing image at this moment of Capitol Hill police bringing out a victim who is bloodied from the Capitol.
It's a heartbreaking day, and it needs to stop, and the president needs to be the first to help make it stop.
What the hell was law enforcement on Capitol Hill thinking by not having secured the Capitol today?
From the president, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful.
First of all, are you and your colleagues safe right now?
Yeah, everybody's safe. I don't want to give my location, but I'll tell you this is madness. And anybody that calls themselves a Republican like myself should be very ashamed right now.
Right over here, you can actually see right here, this is a caravan of vehicles from the Metropolitan Police Department. So this is not Capitol Police. This is not National Guard. This is District of Columbia Police. They came in their riot gear and entered the Capitol. We have seen others from the National Guard and other law enforcement agencies. And then in just the last few minutes, we also have seen some snipers.
We are hours into a siege on the Capitol building of the United States of America, and we have not seen the President of the United States.
I can think of no greater failure by a commander-in-chief than to allow this kind of disturbance to continue and not stop it.
Stormed the Capitol building. They are marching through now.
An improvised explosive device has been found at the Capitol. It did not detonate. The federal agents have it, and it has not harmed anyone. An explosive device has been located at the headquarters of the Republican National Committee. That explosive device was real, was detonated by a bomb squad, and harmed no one.
This has really been pouring gasoline on a fire, and we need to push back on this, not only on the rhetoric, but also on those extremist groups that are capitalizing on it.
I call on this mob to pull back and allow the work of democracy to go forward. I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
What has happened today is unprecedented in American history. And when you have violent mobs storming the floor of the House of Representatives and the floor of the United States Senate, and the president's response is to say that he loves those people. It is absolutely counter to the Constitution and counter to the peaceful transition of power and the values on which this republic was built.
And this is much bigger than the individuals, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It is way bigger than that. This is about democracy and our Constitution versus anarchy. We need to stay in session. We need to fulfill our constitutional duty and finish this process and ensure the 306 electoral votes for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are certified.
The Capitol building has been cleared. Now they're working to clear the Capitol grounds. Associated Press now reporting and NBC News reporting that the police have used tear gas and percussion grenades to begin clearing protesters from the U.S. Capitol.
But at this time, something went wrong. I admit that. If I was up there, I deserve to be fired.
There was a shooting at the Capitol today, and that in fact the shooting victim has died.
I guess you can call it historical. I would call it disgusting, unacceptable, inexcusable.
This man, Trump, is simply unfit to serve as president, to serve as the commander-in-chief.
The account of Donald Trump will be locked for 12 hours following the removal of the tweets that Twitter deemed incite violence. If the tweets are not removed, the account will remain locked.
The United States Senate will not be intimidated. We will not
be kept out of this chamber by thugs, mobs, or threats.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 232 votes. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 300.
All right, family, that was a brief timeline. And I'm watching and looking at some of y'all's comments. Do you think the United States government has done enough up to this point? And it's been an entire year. Do you think the United States government has done enough up to this point, all right, to secure members of Congress, to secure the democratic process? All right. Do you even care about the democratic process? What are your thoughts? Evan, I'm going to stay funky, man. So I saw some critical comments in the over here, Kwan. Did you see this one? Hold on. Somebody said it was Antifa and BLM, Black Lives Matter. For real? I don't. Yeah, I don't get that because obviously the groups were identifying themselves. I'm just going to play something in the background as we talk, family, okay? The Day of Rage, how Trump supporters took the Capitol. This is a visual investigation, all right?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They came from all 50 states. Out of some sense of patriotic duty.
It's so much more than just rallying for President Trump. It's really rallying for our way of life, the American dream, against fake news.
To protest an election they believed had been stolen.
We're here, Patriots. We're in Washington, D.C., Capitol building dead in front of us.
Their day of action would be January 6th, when Congress would count electoral ballots and ratify the 2020 election results. For some, it was just a rally for their president. For others, it was a call to arms.
We have the power in numbers. March on Congress directly after Trump's speech.
In the weeks beforehand, there were over 1 million mentions on social media of storming the Capitol. Maps were shared of the building's layout. There was talk of bringing weapons and ammunition, and discussion over which lawmakers should be targeted first. This anger was based on a lie.
This election was a fraud.
A lie that had grown more frenzied after the election.
President Trump won this election.
They were flipping votes.
Steal the election in Philadelphia.
When you win in a landslide and they
steal the election in Atlanta.
And it's rigged.
Steal the election in Milwaukee.
It's not acceptable.
This is outrageous.
A lie spread by the president and his closest allies.
Let's call out cheating when we find it.
Some of whom stoked calls for violence.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. Everyone's going to remember who actually stands in the breach and fights tomorrow and who goes running off like a chicken.
We bleed freedom.
This will be their Waterloo.
And we will sacrifice for freedom.
This will be their destruction.
What happened next was chaos.
They broke the glass.
Insurrection.
Take it now! Jesus!
Death. Then there began a campaign to whitewash history, starting at the top.
It was a zero threat. Right from the start, it was zero threat.
And spreading throughout the Republican Party.
Even calling it an insurrection, it wasn't. By and large, it was peaceful protest.
One lawmaker who helped barricade the House doors now suggests there was barely any threat.
If you didn't know the TV footage was a video from January the 6th, you would actually think it was a normal tourist visit.
A tourist visit? This was not. And the proof is in the footage. As part of a 6-month investigation, the New York Times has collected and forensically analysed thousands of videos, most filmed by the rioters themselves. We obtained internal police radio traffic and went to court to unseal police body cam footage. Our reconstruction shows the Capitol riot for what it was, a violent assault encouraged by the president on a seat of democracy that he vowed to protect. We'll chart how police leaders failed to heed warnings of an impending attack, putting rank-and-file officers in danger. We'll track key instigators in the mob, taking advantage of weaknesses in the Capitol's defenses to ignite a wave of violence that engulfed the building. We'll show for the first time the many simultaneous points of attack and the 8 breaches of what appeared to be an impenetrable institution of government. We'll show how the delay to secure Congress likely cost a rioter her life, and how for some, storming the Capitol was part of the plan all along.
In fact, tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested. Well, let's not say it. We need to go, I'll say it. All right. We need to go in to the Capitol. Let's go!
It's the morning of January 6th, and thousands are filling the National Mall in Washington. Trump will speak here at the Ellipse, a large park near the White House and a half-hour walk to the US Capitol, where the election will be certified. Who's actually in this crowd? Most are ordinary citizens who believe Trump's lie that the election was stolen.
It's going to be a great day. It's going to be wild, as Trump says.
But we also see more extreme groups who've gained a following during Trump's presidency. There are followers of the QAnon conspiracy,
Drinking their blood, eating our babies.
who believe that Trump is facing down a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles. Q posts often invoke notions of patriotism and predict a coming storm. And ahead of January 6th, some supporters call for violence.
Colored people? Who is that talking, Colin?
The Oath Keepers, a far-right paramilitary group, are also here.
We have men already stationed outside D.C.
Their leader has said the group is ready to follow Trump's orders and take members of what they call the deep state into custody. They're organized, staging their military-style equipment neatly on the ground. And later, they put on body armor, talk on radios, and chat with their supporters on a walkie-talkie app called Zello.
We have a good group. We got about 30, 40 of us. We're sticking together and sticking to the plan. Y'all, we're 1 block away from the Capitol now. I'm probably going to go silent when I get there because I'm going to be a little busy.
Another group is the Proud Boys. They're far-right nationalists who flash white power signs throughout the day.
Check out all this testosterone.
They became a household name when Trump invoked them during a presidential debate.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
And that's what they did. They have a history of street violence and will be key instigators of the riot. We'll return to them soon. Although the rally is billed as a political protest, some make calls to storm the Capitol even before Trump speaks.
It's that direction.
And later, when Trump does take the stage,
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
some hear his words as a call to action.
You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. Invade the Capitol building. Do the right thing. Take the Capitol. Take the Capitol. Take the Capitol right now. We'll soon be marching over to the Capitol building.
2 hours before this, the Proud Boys were already heading for the Capitol. They're clearly spoiling for a fight with far-left agitators like Antifa, who they believe are in DC.
Where's Antifa?
But there are moments that suggest another motive.
Take the fucking Capitol. Come on, tighten up, my boy.
Let's not fucking yell that. All right?
They're organized too. Many are marked with orange tape or hats.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys. And those are the boys marching with us. We got hidden guys everywhere.
They're wearing body armor, carrying baseball bats, and using radios.
That's affirmative. Yes, this is Tucker.
Leading them is Ethan Nordine, who's been entrusted with so-called war powers. He's joined by other well-known Proud Boys like Joe Biggs, an organizer from Florida, Dominic Pizzola, a former Marine, and Billy Crestman. They will be among the first rioters inside the Capitol building.
Proud Boys.
As Trump is speaking, some of his other supporters also head to the Capitol.
Who street? Our street! Who street? Our street!
And the tone is becoming menacing.
We're gonna storm the fucking Capitol! Fuck you fuckers!
USA! USA!
Just ahead, officers guarding the building are understaffed and ill-equipped for what's coming their way.
You gotta stop us!
The building is more than 2 football fields in length, and barricades erected on the east side are defended by just a few dozen officers. The west side, facing Trump's rally, is even lighter. The fencing has been extended, and on the northwest approach, only 5 officers stand guard. Around 5 also defend the southwest approach, a few more dot the lawn, and about a dozen officers are behind them. Plans to storm the Capitol were made in plain sight, but the FBI and Department of Homeland Security did not deem those threats as credible.
Can you hear me better now, Quan? Can you hear me better now?
Capitol Police leaders in Washington's mayor warned at least 3 times about the threats, but also didn't take them seriously or circulate that information. And they declined offers of security personnel from federal and other agencies. They could have enlisted several hundred more Capitol Police for duty on January 6th, but did not.
Better? All right, cool. All right. Why?
And none of the officers on the barricades have protective gear or crowd control equipment.
My basic question
As a result,
is,
the Capitol is sparsely defended.
where are we at today, a year later?
It's 12:50 p.m.
I think they said 762 people
right by the Capitol Police
have court charges. Let me say this, if the Black Lives Matter movement was organized, then no more looting stores, stop buying from
Joe Biggs
Asians.
is rallying them when he's approached by
B.
Ryan
Samuel
Sampson,
22.
a Trump supporter from Pennsylvania. They chat, we don't know about what.
B. Samuel
But
22,
a
let me
minute
say
later,
this, if Black
Sampson
Lives
was the
Matter
first to
movement was
approach the police
organized and no one looted the stores, well, do you know that there were white people looting the stores, Miss B. Samuel 22? That was quite obvious. If we stop buying from Asians and
Without
every other
hesitation,
race,
the crowd overpowered
they
the
don't
police.
serve as yeah, okay, I got you. Well, we have to study the infiltration and
Nearby,
the
a second group breaks
of
through
the
on
Black
another
Lives Matter
approach.
movement by other groups and other people, Antifa
Others
and
build
other people,
fences,
co-opting and taking over Black
and
Lives
now
Matter.
hundreds of rioters rush forward.
The
on
whole
several
idea of
fronts.
Black Lives Matter having a hidden agenda. Some say it was a gay, homosexual agenda. I'm not sure. I'm
Police
going by
retreat
what
to
I
the
read.
Capitol building, where it's becoming more threatening.
Thank you.
A mob mentality begins to take hold.
So this is,
Police are so outnumbered, they're forced
I guess
to retreat
this
again
is,
to more
I think I
tightly
put
defend
in,
access points to the Capitol.
in part of the description, do you condone political violence? Because the question was asked some time ago,
It's now 5 minutes into
and I
the
think
siege
some
that the Capitol
bobbleheads,
Police chief calls for
black
backup from
ones,
local law enforcement,
some imps,
known as
coons, some
Metropolitan
Negroes,
Police, and asks
when the
other
question was
Capitol
asked if
leaders
this
to
was black
mobilize the
people, what do you
National
think would
Guard.
happen?
You took an oath. Does that not mean a damn thing to you, does it?
Metro Police will arrive within 15 minutes, but for reasons we'll explain later, the National Guard won't arrive for over 4 hours. Meanwhile, more Capitol Police come to reinforce the line. It's the first time we see officers in riot
So this
gear.
is a very real dynamic. And what's
But
going
most are
on,
missing their shields
and then
because they
today
have not prepared
they're
for
sitting
the
around,
roster
sitting
storage
around
area
having
where that
hearings
equipment is
about it, and we're seeing a few people that have been
Boys like Billy
arrested
Crestman
and
kept
charged
rallying
and
the mob.
sentenced. I think it just was anyone other than, I
And
guess,
again, they
red-blooded
start brawling with the
Americans,
police.
they'd have been hunted down and shot. This is not a walk in the park. This is not tourists coming through.
Minutes later,
the Capitol
reinforcements from the Metro Police arrive. A high-ranking Metro officer immediately calls for more backup.
Get you 12 up to help maintain the lines. They're throwing buyback.
You know, this is nothing to kind of to sneeze at. This was very real with thousands of people storming the Capitol.
Rioters who respond with their own chemical spray. And within 30 minutes, the police already have casualties.
Multiple capital injuries. Multiple capital injuries.
This first
Donna,
wave of rioters battling police has paved the way across Capitol grounds for others to follow.
Donna Sharif said, "This is who they
And after Trump
are."
finishes speaking, thousands more now fill this space.
So even if they was trying to get them to change their votes, is this the way to do it?
Mike Pence have begun certifying the 2020 presidential election results. Certification will happen on both sides of the building, in the House and the Senate. And this is what the rioters want to stop. An hour into the assault,
The
mob is
Proud
battling
Boys
a
storming
police
the
line
Capitol
here
was
along the west
necessary.
face of the Capitol.
This is
But
just
that
the beginning.
violence is now
Well,
going to
B.
spread to
Samuel
multiple
22 is the
points of
beginning
attack
of what?
As West
I'm
Side
curious.
rioters
Help me
swing
out.
around the Capitol and incite the crowd on
What
the
is it
east.
the beginning of?
Here's what that crowd looks like on the east.
I'm
They're
just
aware of the speech happening on
facilitating
the
the
west
conversation.
side, and some are emboldened by
All right,
it.
because it's going on right now as we speak on your local news.
But up until now,
But
they've
what
been
is it
kept
that
behind the barricades.
the local news is saying?
Then this group from the west storms around the building and pushes right through the barriers. The police here barely put up a fight. And it's now that protesters all along the east barricades surge forward. Officers are overwhelmed from several directions.
Wow. Yeah, it's
and
ugly.
retreat to guard Capitol entrances.
I mean, when you really look at it from this angle, it's ugly as hell.
But these rioters believe
We weren't seeing it from this
to
angle.
stop a crime. And now they start trying to get into the building itself.
Wow.
The Capitol is now surrounded. Rioters haven't made it inside yet, but around the time that the mob on the east...
How many black people do you think that around the country was sitting back watching this?
This Capitol
And,
was
you know,
erected for the upcoming inauguration of Joe Biden. It covers a staircase that gives
saying,
direct
okay.
access to an upper level and dozens of doors and windows. 3 police lines guard that route.
Good
But at
point,
ground level,
Juan.
officers
Good
are
point.
so overwhelmed that just a few cover this crucial access
Good point. I was trying to figure out the best way to approach this today, and it's like, how else can I approach it? Why don't we just do a visual investigation? Why don't we just show a timeline? Why don't we just say,
Proud Boys start
this is
fighting
how it
the
happened?
police, and with others in the mob,
You don't have to
they
take
push
Griff's
through the
word
line.
for it or my opinion or whatever.
They have stormed the Capitol building. Look at this.
Over several minutes,
Yeah.
it's a brutal fight on these steps. At one point, the rioters are held back,
Wow.
but they make a final push.
This
up the
is
flight
no
of stairs.
tourist walk through the Capitol, family. No, this is not.
At the
This
top,
is
they
just
scuffle
not
again
what
with
they're
a small
saying it
group of
is.
officers who give in after barely a minute.
All right, so this is something a lot deeper than just that casual walk through the Capitol. And over here to the left, we have a statue of Thomas Jefferson. No, it's not that kind of party. No. They weren't handing out tea and trumpets that day.
And hundreds more protesters below surge forward.
So this is very real. Look at these, how many people it was. Thousands and thousands of people.
It's utter mayhem, and it's about to get worse. The scene is being filmed from countless angles, allowing us to piece together moment by moment what comes next.
They break the law and then they change the law for themselves.
Proud Boy Dominic Pizzola uses a police shield he stole to bash in a window.
So a retired general said that there will be a civil war in 2024.
And at 2:13
Trump
p.m.,
or somebody
the Capitol is breached.
Like him does not win.
Michael Sparks, a Trump supporter from Kentucky, is the first person inside. A police officer seems unsure of what to do and backs off. Sparks is followed by Proud Boys and other far-right extremists, one carrying a Confederate flag, another armed with a baseball bat. When rioters break open the locked doors, hundreds more rush in.
Wow. So this is what we're dealing with. I don't know how people feel about it. I definitely know. I got my finger on the pulse of how black people feel about it.
Officers must now defend the outside and inside of the building, stretching them even further. Simultaneous events now happen that are critical to lawmakers' safety. Rioters head straight for the Senate and will be at its doors in 2 minutes. Above them,
it seemed like all the militias were there that day. All the ones that you can mention.
Will evacuate down these
3%ers, Proud Boys.
In this hallway directly overhead the rioters, Officer Eugene Goodman is sprinting to overtake them. He passes Mitt Romney, who he warns to turn around. Reinforcements are following behind. Goodman overtakes the mob, goes downstairs, and intercepts them. He holds them off while backup arrives upstairs. Behind these rioters, and just feet away, is an escape route where lawmakers and Senate staff are now fleeing. Just one officer stands guard.
Wow.
Keeping his composure, Goodman draws the mob away from that escape route to where reinforcements are waiting.
Wow.
He glances toward the Senate and realizes a door is unguarded. Goodman shoves the protester again, lures the mob away, and brings them into that line of fellow officers.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess distorted information is going out on over social media for the whole entire year. FBI, United States government have been rounding up people almost to the degree of 800 people. Go arrest the vice president. Wow.
The officers hold them off here for now. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Capitol, a few political leaders are evacuated from the House of Representatives. But despite a lockdown alert, proceedings here will resume.
The House will be in order.
We'll go there soon. First, we'll go to the crypt in the center of the
Black officer
Capitol,
standing 10 toes down by himself.
The mob
He's
is
a hero
already
in
at
my
its
eyes.
entrance.
Wow.
If they get through here, they will more easily fan out across the building.
No doubt, bro. So you really think there's going to be a civil war in 2024?
And then flood through.
All right.
It's now 2:24 p.m.
How many people believe that there's going to be a civil war?
And the mob is about
And
to overrun.
if you do believe that, how many people are actually preparing?
As this is happening, and as thousands more swell outside, Trump composes a tweet, not to calm his supporters, but to blame his vice president.
Wow.
He writes,
a lot
Mike
of people.
Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution.
Wow.
At this very time, Pence and his family are being taken to safety, along with an aide who's carrying the country's nuclear launch equipment.
So, Solo, you said you 100% sure. Now, what happens if it don't happen in 2024?
At
we
2:25
gonna talk
p.m.,
to you
there's another
and have
major
lunch with
breach
you
on
that
the
day?
opposite side of the building, the east side. Rioters have been battling a handful of officers at these doors for almost half an hour.
So, why do you keep calling on a civil war? Creole the lone traveler.
The tide turns.
Why do you keep calling on civil war?
Reach these
And
doors
saying it's going to happen. What indications, what indicators do you have that a civil war is going to take place in America?
For the mob to flood in.
We are one of you. Come on, Americans.
Just as elsewhere, this crowd is a mix of die-hard Trump supporters, but also more organized groups like the Oath Keepers, who move in formation.
3%ers, Oath Keepers, Proud Boys.
The Oath Keepers and their supporters continue to update each other on the Zello chat app.
The House is in recess. We're going to yank them out of their seats.
The group enters the Capitol together. Proud Boys are near them.
So my thing is, if what you're saying is true, which I think most people believe
for a second time,
that something may happen, how many people are actually getting prepared though? And then what are you doing to get prepared?
Took over the Capitol, overran the Capitol. We're in the fucking Capitol, bro.
Now the police inside the building are completely outnumbered and call for backup.
We need some additional squads in Rotunda. It's not for about 200 people.
Throughout the Capitol, staffers have barricaded doors to keep the mob out.
Yeah, that's a good question,
chambers,
Sean.
Staffers rush inside a conference room.
Where are all the special tactical law groups? Tactical this one, the ones with all the letters,
outside head straight for her office.
Secret Service, and CIA, and FBI. Where's all of them? Special Forces and
huddled together
Green Beret and
staff.
Where's all of them?
We need Capitol.
Yeah.
Coming to the hallway. They're pounding on doors trying to find her.
One rioter tries to break into that same room. Inside, staffers are silent as they record him pounding. He gets through the first door, but the second door keeps him out. It's a scene that again shows just how compromised the US government has become. By 2:30 p.m., the Senate evacuation is well underway. But even though a lockdown was called over 15 minutes ago, the House is still in session.
Do not accept Arizona's electors as certified.
Representative
How are you
Jim
still in
McGovern
session and all that's going on
He
around
told us
you?
he wanted to finish hearing objections to the election results by Paul Gosar. House staff and security gave McGovern the all clear to continue. It's a delay that likely costs someone their life. Suddenly, staff are now pointing at the chamber's doors.
Please be advised there are masks under your seats. Please grab a mask, place it in your lap, and be prepared to don your mask in the event that we get a breach.
Just outside, a mob of 100 or more is baying to get into them.
Well, we came this far. What do you say? Drag them out!
These rioters pay little heed to the thin line of police.
They're going.
All right.
Just stop. Bro.
I guess you're right, Charles
And in
Williams.
moments,
Business
are
as
pushing
usual,
against
huh?
the doors into the House. On the other side, Capitol Police erect a barricade and draw their guns.
You're a traitor.
On the floor, lawmakers are evacuated to the rear of the chamber, where in a few minutes, a rioter will
There's
be
not
shot
too
and
much I
killed.
can say, fam. I'm asking questions, trying to feel
Part of
you
the mob
guys out.
outside now peels off in that direction to
Looking
find
at
a
the
different
images,
way
and I'm
in.
just saying to myself, yeah, this is yeah.
Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran
Trust me,
and
I'm not
QAnon
just trying to
supporter,
waste
is among the
time
first
for this
to
hour
arrive
that we're
at
going to
the
be
rear of
on
the
here.
They see the lawmakers escaping. That lobby might have been clear had the House been evacuated sooner, but the rioters now become incensed. Zachary Allen, a Trump supporter from Pennsylvania, punches in the glass panels with his bare fists. Police are stretched extremely thin. Just 3 officers and a security staffer stand guard.
You said, why didn't they call the Army or the Navy? This is a state of emergency.
Weapons holstered.
Yeah. Yeah.
A team of heavily armed police.
They should have been calling tactical teams and
step aside.
All kind of stuff.
This creates a crucial gap that allows rioters to smash in the glass. A warning: what happens next is graphic. It's 2:44 p.m. and behind the door, a police officer draws his handgun.
There's a gun!
Babbitt vaults into the window, and the officer shoots her once. It's a fatal wound through the upper chest. Inside the chamber, the floor is clear, but lawmakers in the balcony are sheltering in place.
Everybody stay down! Get down!
Yeah. The fuck?
Take your pins off.
Pins off.
They now remove the breast pins that identify them as members of Congress. A group of rioters who almost made it to the balcony are held at gunpoint as it's finally evacuated. Now Trump supporters have achieved their goal, stopping the election certification.
Defend your liberty! Defend your Constitution!
And while the House is evacuated, at the other side of the building, the Senate is occupied.
Treason! Treason! Treason!
On the Senate floor, they leaf through lawmakers' files,
There's got to be something in here you can fucking use against these scumbags.
mug for photos, pray,
Spoke your name! Amen! Amen!
and leave a message for Mike Pence.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
As rioters inside have been rampaging throughout the Capitol, the crowd outside has grown, and that first battle has continued raging. For almost 2 hours, officers face off with rioters who say they support the police,
We've backed you forever! We've backed the blue forever!
but assault them anyway. We're going to show what happened here because it demonstrates yet again how failures by Capitol Police leaders to prepare put the safety of these officers at risk. Capitol Police had been ordered to withhold some of their stronger weapons. But as soon as Robert Glover, a Metro Police inspector, arrives, he calls for his munitions team to help.
Cruiser 50, give me a DSO team. DSO team. DSO team to respond to the west front of the Capitol.
When the building is breached, Glover knows he needs to retreat and seeks advice from Capitol leaders.
I need a command official from Capitol so we can coordinate where they want us to pull back to. We cannot hold this without more munitions and more manpower.
But Capitol don't respond. He asks 4 times.
I need to know from Capitol where they want to pull back to.
Then the police lose the line.
There's a pit that we lost the line. We've lost the line. All they need, pull back.
We the people! We are the storm!
Rioters knock an officer over, throw a fire extinguisher.
USA!
Glover issues a 1033, a call of last resort.
1033. I repeat, 1033. West front of the Capitol. We have been pranked and we've lost the line.
On the 1033, have all units respond to assist him. Do what we're trained to do.
Crazed rioters hound the police even as they retreat to the upper level.
Get out of here! Take your big sorry asses and back up in there! Run your sorry asses off!
Police now begin to guard this doorway. an iconic centerpiece of presidential inaugurations. But for another 2 hours, the same pattern will repeat. Rioters fill the terrace. Instigators trigger a frenzy. And tragically, someone will die. A brutal fight erupts in the doorway. The mob heaves in a coordinated scrum. And when police finally push them out, they face even worse violence. They are tased, gassed, and robbed of their equipment. They're beaten with a crutch, a hockey stick, and even an American flag. At least 4 officers are pulled into the crowd. One dragged by his own helmet, face down. And again, the frenzy turns fatal. Roseanne Boyland, a Trump supporter who has been swept up by QAnon conspiracies, is moving toward the door. But amid the scrum, she collapses and is lying unconscious beneath the mob. As the crowd sarcastically chants a Black Lives Matter slogan, Boylan's friend, Justin Winchell, tries to pull her to safety. He screams for help. But instead, fellow rioters trample over Boyland and charge at the police again. Boyland will be pronounced dead at a local hospital in the evening. By the end of the day, rioters have breached and entered the building in at least 8 locations. There's the first breach, which we've seen, when rioters smashed through 2 windows and a door. Beside that, a rioter with a crowbar smashes in a second door and then opens it to hundreds of people. Others smash a window next to the inauguration door and climb inside. At this entrance, police stand aside and allow rioters to stream in unchallenged. On the north side of the building, police in riot gear yield and let the crowd in. Another 3 breaches are on the east side, 2 by the central doors into the rotunda, and this southeast door leading to the House chamber. It's the arrival of more Metropolitan Police and other agencies that finally turns the tide. When those officers enter the rotunda, they clear it in just 20 minutes. As the mob is pushed back through the east doors, their rage turns to Mike Pence, who Trump attacked earlier. Metro officers also stop other rioters from entering on the west side, where the mob first broke in.
Guys, let's go! Push them that way!
But here too, we see a crowd empowered by the belief that they're carrying out some patriotic duty.
I was invited here by the president!
Over the course of the day, 150 police officers are injured. Wow. After 4 p.m., Metro and Capitol Police regain control of the upper levels. The final parts of the interior are cleared by other law enforcement, including federal agencies. Tear gas and flashbangs disperse the crowd on the inauguration terrace. The Virginia State Police and Arlington County Police help to reclaim that area. Then rioters are swiftly pushed off Capitol grounds by a reinforced police line. Only now, more than 3 hours after Capitol Police first called them, do National Guard soldiers arrive.
and diffused and turned down right now.
Troops were staging just 20 minutes away, but a recent procedural change meant the highest level of the Pentagon had to approve deployment. And Pentagon officials delayed the decision, partially in fear of bad optics, even as the Capitol was being overrun. As calm returns, the president tweets again. He repeats that the election had been stripped away, calls his supporters great patriots, and says, "Remember this day forever."
Check 1 2 1 2.
The aftermath of January 6th has been as divisive as the lie that launched it. Even as one arm of government has indicted hundreds of rioters, Republican lawmakers continue efforts to normalize what happened with a mix of denials and conspiracy theories.
Some of the people who breached the Capitol today were not Trump supporters.
I knew those are people that love this country, that truly respect law enforcement, would never do anything to break a law. And so I wasn't concerned.
They include Paul Gosar, who'd been at the Trump rally.
The DOJ is harassing peaceful patriots across the country.
And Andrew Clyde, who we saw earlier, standing just a few feet from rioters.
There was no insurrection, and to call it an insurrection, in my opinion, is a bold-faced lie.
Republican leaders have blocked an independent investigation that could have brought new details to light.
I've made the decision to oppose the House Democrats' slanted and unbalanced proposal for another commission to study the events of January the 6th.
And in May, a top Republican was ousted from the party's leadership after blaming Trump for inspiring the riot.
And I think that the party is in a place that we've got to bring it back from.
None of what happened on January 6th would have been possible without a huge mass of ordinary people who were proud of what they achieved. Millions around the country still believe the violence was not only justified, but necessary. And the forces that brought them there have not gone away.
Yeah, the Patriots are coming back, yo. Hopefully y'all will be on our side when that happens.
Wow.
I'm Haley Willis, one of the reporters on this investigation. The video you just watched is the result of 6 months of intensive reporting. We began on the day of the Capitol attack itself, collecting and reviewing thousands of videos and breaking them down, moment by moment, to understand how it all unfolded. We went to court for evidence, reviewed internal police investigations, and drew on resources and expertise from across the Times newsroom. This isn't the first time we've done this, and it won't be the last. To sign up for an alert every time we publish a new visual investigation, subscribe to our newsletter.
Just a visual investigation. And you, yeah. Well, they say you can't believe your lying eyes. Yeah. Well, that's what I have for this evening, fam. That's what I have. This is the 1-year anniversary. I'm trying to see how this thing is going to unfold. What laws are they going to put in place? So, yeah. Surprisingly enough, we only had to kick one asshole off of the thing today. I'm not sure how many people you blocked, Quan, but yeah. Y'all saw it for yourself. It took them 6 months. Thousands of reams and reels of footage they said they went through. A whole team of people. You saw it for yourself. All right. Anyway, yeah. Thank you very much for supporting the platform. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for those individuals that wanted to participate in the developing an urban tactical mindset. Abstract Thought, yeah, it's a documentary film. Visual investigations, The Day of Rage, visual investigations. Quan, can you put that in the chat? Doc, can you type that in for me? Day of Rage, visual investigations. All right. Day of Rage, visual investigation. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot to kind of look into this thing. All right. All right. It's 8 o'clock. That's it, fam. Love you all to light. This is Professor Griff signing out. All right. Revolution is not an event. It's a process. All right. Revolution is complete, constructive, conscious, cosmic change. All right. This is why serious minds attract serious minds. Seriously. All right. Love you all to life. I got to get ready to get out of here. Peace. All right, fam. I got to get out of here. Peace. All right, Quan. We'll talk. All right. Peace. Greetings, family. All right, this is Professor Griff. Of course, you'll already know from Serious Mind R&T. Of course, now Serious Arms. I want to welcome you to a very brand new course that I'm giving online. It's called Developing an Urban Tactical Mindset. You can register now at www.professorgriff.me. Once again, this is Professor Griff, and I'm welcoming you to Developing an Urban Tactical Mindset, a 6 weeks online course with scheduled in-person dates. All right, I want to see you guys in class. Register now. Go to www.professorgriff.me.